John 3:16. I like to look at verses in which we always use, in which become like secondhand, which we all know these are the gems of Christianity. I think one of the most popular ones is John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. I found that often these verses that we hold that are so popular, we repeat them and we all know them by heart, that when we look at them within their context and the deeper meaning, these verses that we will always say, these words that we always repeat, are just the tip of the iceberg. And in viewing Jesus all throughout the Bible, we find that there are prophets, there are things which foreshadow him. And there's a lot of things which foreshadow many of the verses in which we hold dear. John 3:16 is one of these verses that we hold dear. Looking at John 3:16, it is a parallel verse. It's a parallel verse because if we look at John 3:14, John 3:15, there's a strange saying here. It goes like this: and as Moses lifted up the brazen serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, so that all who believe in him shall not perish and have everlasting life. Then it's repeated thereafter, culminating in John 3:16. So there's a parallel with the serpent and the Lord Jesus Christ. But you need not be perplexed, because it seems that John 3:16 is resting on something that God has given us in a platter. God has given us salvation on a platter by using John 3:16 within this context, within the context in which Jesus gave it. Because when Moses held up the brazen serpent, it was as a cure for the people because they had grumbled against God, sinned against him. They were unappreciative of what he has done for them. And then snakes began to go in amongst them, sent by the Lord, and they began to die in great numbers. And the Lord told Moses to fix the situation, fashion a bronze serpent, put it on your rod, raise it up, that whoever looks at it shall be cured, shall be healed. Jesus said, in the same fashion that if you look unto me, that you'll have everlasting life. What that means is, as I understand it, is that God is saying that I've given you everything you need to believe. And see, believing in the Lord Jesus Christ is a difficult part, because we know to be saved, we must confess with our mouth and believe in our heart. But the belief part is the hard part, because the belief part if we believe in the Lord, a lot of things we'd have to give up and do away with and change. So that's the very hard part. But God is saying in John 13, 14, 15, and 16 that I've made it easy for you. God is saying, if we can raise up horoscopes and you read it every day and believe in it, you can believe in me. If as a child we gave you Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, and you believe that and behave good for about 2 weeks, you can believe in me. God is saying, if you can believe and trust an outlaw like Moses, a murderous outlaw who failed in Egypt, who really failed in the promised land, even though by being led by God, if you can believe in this man who fell short and he lifted up a brazen serpent, then it's going to be easy for you to believe in he which died and went to hell and came back. He's making it easy for us. And that's the thing about Bible verses. We have to really dig deeply. And God understands these things are being hard for us sometimes to absorb. And while it's good that we memorize these verses, we also have to know what they really mean. So John 3:16 is true. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. But he did more than that, because he also so loved you that he set in place and in motion and put in motion what you already need. He's given you grace on top of grace, so that you are hardwired to believe. You are hardwired to love. You are hardwired to give hope. You are hardwired to hold on. And he understands that it's a great leap of faith to believe that Jesus is Lord. People debate this constantly, but God said, I've given you everything you need to be saved. If you can believe in your horoscope, in your lucky rabbit's foot, in your best team and how to behave, if you can believe that you have a lucky t-shirt or a lucky charm or the things that we believe in, or whatever it is we hold dear, that to shore up our beliefs. We can believe what any prophet says. If we can believe in all these things, what the TV tells us, God said, those are the tools I gave in you to believe in me. So John 3:16, it's love in many dimensions. It's love as it stands, as it says, but it also has a backdrop and a history and a pre-planning to get you towards salvation. And that's why the Bible also says that no one can come unto the Father unless he's called by God, unless he is already one of God's, because he's given you the ability right now to believe in him. And if you can believe in whatever we believe in, you can surely believe in God and be saved.